Welcome to the place where the twin flame journey is stripped back to its true spiritual essence. No myths, no chasing, just truth, clarity, and awakening. Here, you'll learn to navigate this path from the perspective of inner alignment, soul consciousness, and remembering who you really are. Whenever I say that you don't have to heal on the twin flame journey, I can almost feel the collective trigger ripple through the community. It's immediate, it's loud, and it's understandable. For so long, spirituality has been framed through the lens of fix yourself, heal your wounds, clear your karma, do the work. So when I say you don't have to heal, it hits the ego straight in the chest. But that is exactly the point. The part of you that becomes triggered by that statement is the part that is not you. It's the ego, the false self, the mental identity that thrives on having problems to solve. The ego loves to cling to an identity that gives it life. It loves to say, here is what's wrong with me, here is my trauma, here is my story. Let me hold on to it, because without it, who am I? The ego loves suffering, it loves being the victim, it loves the narrative that says you are broken, wounded, and perpetually in need of repair. And this is why the twin flame journey feels so brutal, because it shines a light on the ego with a force most people have never experienced before. It exposes the illusion, it exposes the stories, it exposes every identity that was never truly you. So, when I say you don't have to heal, what I really mean is this: there is nothing wrong with you. There never was. Only the ego believed that. If you've ever tried to keep up with your ego's list of things to fix, you know it never ends. Because it cannot end. The ego survives through drama, stories, and emotional turbulence. It needs something to fight against, something to analyze, something to resist. If it didn't have problems, it wouldn't know who it was. This is why inner child healing, shadow work, or therapeutic processes can become addictive when used unconsciously. Instead of dissolving the ego, they often give it more fuel, more wounds to analyze, more narratives to cling to, and more reasons to say, I am this way because of that thing that happened. Suddenly, the healing becomes another identity, another mask, another story. On the twin flame journey, this creates endless loops. I need to heal more. I need to fix this wound. I need to clear this block before union. I need to raise my vibration. But the deeper spiritual truth is, you cannot fix an illusion, you can only wake up from it. This is one of the most liberating realizations you will ever have. When you incarnate on Earth, every experience, yes, even the devastating ones, is part of your soul's expansion. Nothing is random, nothing is wasted, nothing is punishment, and nothing is evidence that you are spiritually flawed. Life is not happening to you. Life is happening for you and ultimately through you. When you begin your spiritual awakening, especially through the twin flame journey, you naturally start to rise above the duality of good and bad. You begin to see that everything serves the same purpose, the dissolution of the false self. Your ego interprets certain things as failures or traumas or injustices, but your soul sees something else entirely, opportunities for expansion, catalysts for awakening, initiations into deeper presence, vehicles to strip away everything you are not. The twin flame connection amplifies all of this dramatically because it acts as a mirror that cannot be escaped. Everything your ego wants to hide becomes visible. Everything it wants to protect dissolves. Everything it clings to is illuminated. And so the pain you feel is not a sign that you need more healing. It's a sign that who you thought you were is dissolving, and the ego is resisting. Every true twin flame goes through a dark night of the soul. It is raw. It is overwhelming. It is unlike anything you've ever felt. But it is not a healing process. It is a dying process, the death of the ego. During this stage, you begin to detach from the false identities you once believed were you. the wounded version of you, the victim, the abandoned one, the anxious one, the one who needed validation, the one who believed in lack, the one who thought love could leave. As these identities dissolve, you stop relating to your old wounds, not because you healed them, but because you no longer believe they define you. You look back at your story, and it feels distant, almost unreal, because so much of it came from the mind. And once you awaken, you realize the mind is not reality. The 3D narrative you lived in was never the truth. It was a temporary dream. This is the power of awakening. You don't heal the wound, you wake up from the self who was wounded. The twin flame path is not meant to be navigated through psychological self-improvement. It is meant to be navigated through awakening. When you follow true spirituality, the kind that dissolves identity instead of inflating it, something profound happens. Life becomes simpler. Your journey becomes manageable. You stop reacting to triggers the same way. You stop chasing emotional highs or lows. You stop defining yourself through anything external. You stop needing your twin flame to fill a void. Because that void, it was never real. It was only the ego's illusion of separation. The more you return to presence, the more you dissolve into what you truly are, the quieter the journey becomes. You feel steadier, you feel freer, you feel less reactive, you feel more like yourself than you ever have. This is why I say you don't have to heal, because healing implies you are damaged. Awakening reveals you are whole. So, what does it mean to not heal, but instead awaken? It means this. You let life do what life is already doing. You stop trying to micromanage your growth. You stop obsessing over blocks. You stop feeding the ego's addiction to self-problem solving. You allow the journey to unfold you. You allow the ego to dissolve naturally. You allow the soul to lead. Because when you truly awaken, you realize there was never anything to heal, only illusions to release, only stories to outgrow, only false identities to shed, only the truth of who you are to return to. And that truth, your soul, has always been whole. If you're ready to go deeper into your journey and receive personalized guidance, you can book a one-on-one chat session with me, which I offer on a pay what feels right to you basis, using the link in the description. Stay present, stay aligned, and remember, love is your truth.